Hey everyone, and welcome. If you're a developer using PC Guard, you already know that a great trial version can make or break a sale. So in this explainer, we're going to dive deep into PC Guard's demo mode settings and show you exactly how to build the perfect trial experience for your application.
So here's our game plan. We're going to tackle this in 5 key steps. First, we'll cover the core limitations, the very foundation of your demo. Then, we'll look at how to control the application's runtime per session. After that, it's all about user feedback. Then, we'll get into some more advanced stuff like handling updates and serials. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with a summary of the most powerful combinations.
Okay, so let's get right into it. What exactly is demo mode? Well, at its core, it's your personal toolkit inside PC Guard for turning your full, complete application into a limited trial. The best part? It's not a separate build you have to manage. It's just a set of rules you apply to your already protected software to give potential customers a real taste of what it can do. All right, so first things first. The most fundamental decision you have to make is how you want to limit your demo. I mean, this choice right here is going to define the entire trial experience for your user.
You've basically got 3 main plays here. First, you can limit the number of times the app is run, the executions. This is perfect for simple utilities where a user can see the value in just a handful of uses. Second, you've got your classic day-based trial, like a 14-day or 30-day demo that starts from the first run. And third, you can set a fixed date range. This is an absolute game changer for public betas that you need to have end for everyone, everywhere on the exact same day.
Now, on top of that main trial period, we can add another layer of control. We can get even more granular and limit how long someone can actually use your application in any single session. So you've got 2 very different flavors here. The standard timer is pretty straightforward. It limits each individual session. You could set it to, say, 20 minutes. After that, the user just has to restart the app to get another 20 minutes. But the cumulative timer, now this is interesting. It tracks the total time the app has been used across all sessions. So you could give a user, say, 300 minutes. That's 5 hours of total evaluation time. They can use it in 5-minute bursts over a month if they want. This is fantastic for complex software because it really respects the user's workflow. Now, this is a super simple tip, but you've got to remember it. If you want to use that awesome cumulative timer we just talked about, you have to check the cumulative box in the settings. It's that simple. If you forget, PC Guard will just default back to the standard per session timer. Okay, so we've got our limits locked in. But limits don't do much good if the user has no idea they exist. This next part is all about communication, how we let the user know about their demo status. So by default, PC Guard kind of plays it cool and doesn't show the user how much time or how many runs they have left. But you can easily turn these counters on, and they'll show up right on the activation dialog. And honestly, this is a really smart move. It's a great psychological tool. Seeing 3 days left or only 5 runs remaining, that creates a real sense of urgency and nudges them to buy before time runs out. Now, you probably don't want to bug your user with an activation dialog the very first time they open your app, right? That's where the threshold setting comes in. Think of it as your polite nudge-o-meter. It determines when that dialog starts showing up automatically. So let's say you have a 30-day trial and you set the threshold to 7. The user gets a smooth, uninterrupted experience for 23 days. But then for that final week, the dialog will pop up on every launch. And of course, if you set it to 0, it shows up right from the get-go. But wait, the threshold isn't the only thing controlling this dialog. It also has to work with the manual special key pop-up. So this brings up a really important question. When does this activation dialog actually show up? The logic is actually pretty straightforward when you see it laid out. Once your threshold is reached, that final week of the trial, the dialog will always appear on launch, no matter what. But before that threshold is met, it will only show up if the user manually triggers it with the special key combination. It's the perfect balance, really. You don't bother new users, but they can still find the activation screen easily whenever they're ready to buy. All right, let's level up and get into a couple of advanced but seriously powerful features. How you can manage demos when you release new software updates, and how to require serial numbers for a more controlled, exclusive trial. This feature is just brilliant. I mean, think about it. You've got a user whose trial expired 6 months ago. Now, you just released a massive new version with incredible new features you know they'd love.
Well, by enabling Reset Demo Mode and just bumping up the update ID, you can give that exact same user a brand new, fresh trial period to evaluate just the new version. It's an amazing way to re-engage potential customers you thought you'd lost.
And don't worry, this is totally secure. What's really important here is that PCGuard is smart about it. It specifically checks for a higher update ID. So a user can't just try to game the system by reinstalling an old version to reset their trial. Nope. The reset only works when they're upgrading. It's foolproof. So what if you want to run a closed beta? Or you only want specific partners or reviewers trying out your software? Well, by enabling this option, you can require a valid serial number just to start the demo. This lets you issue trackable, maybe even single-use demo keys. It adds a whole new layer of access control to how you distribute your trial versions. Okay, we have thrown a lot of settings at you. So now let's pull it all back together and do a quick summary of how these pieces work together to create a really robust and flexible demo. So here are the big things to remember. First, demo mode is super flexible. It works with any of the core protection methods like remote or plain. Second, you can mix and match limitations. For example, your demo could expire after 30 days or 100 runs, whichever happens first. And most importantly, the protection is rock solid. It tracks usage on a per-machine basis, so just uninstalling and reinstalling won't reset the clock. And that pretty much wraps it up. The real power here isn't in any single setting, but in how you creatively combine them. So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. What unique combination of limits, timers, and user feedback are you going to use to create the absolute most effective trial for your users? Thanks for joining us for this explainer.